All right. Are you feeling angry? This is not a joke. If you're angry right now, I do not want you to listen to this. Turn it off. Serious. Actually, it's our live broadcast now. So when you calm down, that's when I want you to listen to this. No joking around at all. Listen, another important thing we're going to cover today is anger avoidable? Interesting question. We're going to ask a few other interesting questions today and look a little deeper into this whole topic of anger, because I think now more than ever, we need to take a look at this subject, because we see anger being played out in the news probably a whole lot more than most of you watching us would care to see. But let's take a closer look. Hi, I'm Jonathan Landsman, your host for Natural Health 365 Live. We do this show every single day, Monday to Friday, at 12 noon Eastern Time. Each and every day, we create a new show all centered around improving your immune system function, which will automatically protect your health. Okay, and also, if you're new, this is an important announcement I always like to make for all our new people out there. Please post new in the comments section below so we can give you a big hello, special welcome to our broadcast. And another reminder as well for everybody out there, please do us a huge favor and share these messages if you think they're worthwhile for your friends and family. Tag them in the comments section below and send this broadcast about anger to them or any of our other broadcasts, because the bottom line is, and it's something I realize I haven't said too much in the past, this is why we want you to do it. The more people that are tagged and shared and making comments down below, and the more interaction there is, the bottom line is that's what the algorithms like. And we'll be able to reach more people this way. And I know you share in these kinds of messages, and you want to get this message out to more people. So please share, like, make comments, and help us to get this word out to more people. Okay, so let's get into it, all right? First important question for all of you, right? Are we born with anger? I mean it. Do you think that we're born with anger, or it's a learned behavior? What do you think? And again, if you want to, please post your comment down below as we roll through some of this stuff, and then I start giving you a little bit of context and some details about this. But for right now, are we born with anger, or is it a learned behavior? What do you think? And again, I want to give credit to, obviously a lot of my spiritual teachers and mentors that were heavily into the psychology of all of this. I took a lot of notes for this. It's something that I've listened to many times in many different ways from a lot of my different teachers over the years. And last night, I actually listened to another lecture that was given last night. And it's a lot of the stuff that I've gone over a little bit in the past, but I decided to dedicate a whole show on this concept of anger and what we can do about it, because I felt like it was so helpful to be reminded of it, even though I've been listening to this kind of stuff for years, and I want you to hear this information as well. And let me tell you something. If you play this program over and over again and move forward to some of the pieces you like, it will definitely help you out more, just like it's helped me. So let's go through it. For me, is it a born trait to be angry, or is it a learned behavior? I think it's probably a combination of the two. Could it be possibly that we have some sort of genetic imprint, past lives, relatives that came before us? A lot of things that you could look at in that sense that imprint anger and the ability to be that angry all the time quite easily as something genetically imprinted. But it's also no doubt something that we learn from very early on about the way to respond to many different situations. We're either seeing that a lot and picking up that behavior and starting to mirror that behavior, or we see another kind of way of reacting to things that might be less angry. But definitely our environment has a lot to do with it as well, especially from the ages of 0, 1 day old, all the way up to about 7 years old. Certainly most psychologists, psychiatrists, and people in mind-body medicine and all of this will tell you that those first 7 years are huge and lay a big imprint on the way we behave for the rest of our life. So, what does anger look like? Let's take a deeper look at it. Maybe you want to make some comments as I roll through this, and let me know in the comments section, what are the first things that come to mind when you think of anger? Is it loud? And again, put in things that maybe I don't put down here. Ugly. Some other words I put down here. Destructive. Violent. Self-centered. Are there other things that come to mind besides what I've mentioned? And I'm curious because I'm not looking right now at the comments section. My good friend behind the camera, Elliot, he's staring at some of those comments now. So if you want to add some of those, that's great. But I would venture to say that most of you are not putting down something positive when it comes to anger. And I'm not suggesting anything. Is there anything positive to anger that you were thinking of? Put down whatever it is that first comes to your mind when I say that someone is angry, or just the concept of anger. What is it that comes to your mind? When do we get angry? Let's take a look at that for a little bit, okay? Just for a minute or so. Well, we get angry when we're provoked, right? Provoked, meaning someone makes us angry, right? Something that somebody said or something that somebody did makes us angry, right? Not obeyed. You give an order. You want something to be done. A friend, a family member, somebody at work, and they don't obey you. So you get angry, right? You're cheated. Obviously, this is a biggie with relationships, right? One significant other cheats on the other. I'm angry now, right? You were cheated. Some sort of feeling like that. You were deprived. You wanted something so bad, and now you didn't get it. You can't have it. I'm angry, right? God forbid, but we'll get to that in a moment. How about also not recognized? That's a biggie, right? You know, nobody's listening to me. Nobody's appreciating me. Nobody's valuing what I'm saying. Bottom line, you're not being recognized, so you get angry, right? How about you put down? And no, don't get angry at me, right? I'm just kidding. But I'm not speaking directly to you when I say this, but you understand what I'm about to roll through. You're slow. You're fat. You're too skinny. You're weak. You don't have enough money. Whatever it might be, right? You're being put down, so you get angry, right? Okay. So we covered some really big topics here, right? About when a person can get angry. And believe you me, for any of you who are wondering right now, yes, I'm an expert when it comes to being angry, right? When I was in my 20s, I was more of an expert. I'm definitely getting better with this over time, and we're going to touch on what I'm talking about a little later on, where I'm heading with all of this. But definitely when I was younger, anger was easy to do over all of these, and probably when I was in my 20s, I could have rattled off 5 or 10 other reasons why I got angry. But that's for another day. Okay, so what is the common denominator about being angry. When someone gets angry, what is it at the core? From just those things that I mentioned just before a minute ago. What is it? Can someone take a guess in the comment section? Okay, and I'll throw it out to you because, again, it's based on a lot of teachings that I've gotten over the years, and it certainly makes a lot of personal sense to me. It's the ego, right? Our ego is being challenged. And, well, I don't want to give away some other things. There are some various definitions of what ego stand for, but certainly for right now, I think it's easy enough to understand that it's our ego, right? And it's when we have a low self-esteem and we have an emptiness, right? And obviously you could see that with one of the things I mentioned before about being deprived of something, right? You wanted something that you don't have, and now you have some realization at that moment you can't have it, right? There's that emptiness. So what do we do when we have that low self-esteem and we have that emptiness in us, right? Right at that moment, we feel that. It's raging up. We lash out by getting angry. And so the bottom line is, when I said ego before, I would think that most of us can agree at this point that when an individual is really angry, and I mean, come on, out of control angry, not just a little sad or upset, it is all about yourself. Ego, remember? It's self-centered. It's all about you. That person didn't listen to me. I can't have what I always wanted and I was looking forward to, and now I don't have it. Or you didn't obey me, right? The list goes on and on and on. You can fill in the blanks. The bottom line is, when someone's really, really angry, they're focused on just themselves, right? Okay. But can you describe what anger is? What is it? Right, I'm not kidding. Like, I'd like to hear what you'd say. And in comments, it'd be really cool if you didn't write just the answer, if you know what I mean, because a lot of times it's so out of context that a lot of people, even ourselves, I won't really be able to track where it was you were listening to this broadcast, and then you pop out an answer. So maybe if you could just say, well, I would describe anger this way. But seriously, right? I've been in the rooms where really great teachers have asked this. And, well, they get, well, being angry is, that's when you're angry. They repeat the same thing. Or angry is, it's energy. It's an emotional energy, right? And again, I'm not making fun, but a lot of times when I've been in the room where a teacher has actually been saying, can you just simply help me out and describe what anger is? There's a lot of silence and a lot of interesting, vague type answers, but no one's really got it down, right? So anyway, you know I'm not going to leave you hanging here. Here's a good working definition, at least in my opinion. And you know what? You take it for what it's worth. An attempt to control, keep in mind the words now, an attempt to control or dominate the other or the environment in order to alleviate one's own fears and insecurities. And remember, I told you before at the beginning of this broadcast, if you could just mark down this time right now in total time on this broadcast where we are, go back and play this definition again. Or perhaps you want to write it down, and I'll repeat it for you in case you missed it. Here's a good definition of anger. An attempt to control or dominate the other or the environment in order to alleviate one's own fears and insecurities. And remember what I said to you all the way at the beginning, and hopefully you were listening to me. If you're really feeling angry right now, you're not going to hear any of this. It was the main reason why I said to you, get away from here and only listen to this broadcast when you feel more calmed down. And of course, the other obvious thing, you'd like to deal with this anger and perhaps change it into something better so that it's a better working thing for you. When you read this over and over and you really let this in, like it's hit me many, many times when I was younger, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, and I won't use the word yet because I'm going to use it later on, it was a life-changing experience. Let's put it that way. All right. So, is it ever justified to be angry? Come on, Jonathan. I had this thing happen to me. I had that. Maybe you're thinking, Jonathan, you have no idea what my life's been like and what's happened to me. Let me tell you a thing or two. And my answer to you is, I would say yes. Anger, and understand the point I'm trying to make, and my teachers have made to me very clearly, anger is always justified, right? Think about what that means. We're going to get into it in a moment. But anger is always justified by the person who's angry. Basically, right, simply put, that person's going to tell you why they're angry, right? So the answer is, it is always justified. But is it necessary? Now, that's the trick question, right? Now, obviously, it's not such a trick question because I just told you it's a trick question. From what I've learned from a lot of these great teachers over the years, the answer to that question is no. Absolutely, 100% of the time, I'll repeat that, anger is never necessary. And I know we can go back and forth with each other, but let's take a closer look. In anger, what happens? A lot of times we know what the expression is. We certainly have a picture in our mind as well, don't we? I'm talking real anger, folks, right? Don't play games with me here. Real anger. We lose all control. Fair enough? Absolutely all control. I don't know what I was thinking when I was angry, right? Think about those words. That's a very common thing that people say. I was out of my mind angry, or I don't know what I was thinking when I was so angry before. These are two very common ways that people speak about anger. So it's a very fair statement to make. Let's get real. We lose all control. We justify the anger, no doubt, at that moment in time with screaming. Remember, we said, what does anger look like before? It's loud. Yeah, we could scream our justification. After we're angry and we calm down, we still justify why we were angry, right? We certainly do that. But keep this in mind, please, because I feel like this is much closer to the truth than just talking about like people being angry and showing pictures on social media of like boyfriends and girlfriends screaming and yelling at each other or family members yelling at the top of their lungs. Anger is just an opinion. Think about it as we keep scrolling down here, and this is a very simplistic thing, so I hope you forgive me if it seems too simple for you. But I have found that this outline has been very, very helpful for me. So anger is just a personal opinion. And here's a key point. A key point, okay? Key point, underline, pay attention. When I say key point, that's a nice way of saying, pay attention. Are you awake? It is not inevitable. Most people think their opinion is, Jonathan, you don't understand what just happened to me. I didn't have a choice. And that's what I'm leading to. It was inevitable that I would get angry after what just happened to me. Are you kidding me? Right? That pattern of believing that anger is inevitable if XYZ happens, right? You fill in the blank. But here's something closer to the truth. Anger is not inevitable like most people think. No way. The key point here is anger is always a choice. Now, I get it. I hear the voices. No, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about, Jonathan. You're out of your mind. I'm out of here. And you're probably not even listening to me anymore at this point if you're gone, which is okay. I respect and understand all those people who may have a problem with some of the stuff that's said. Listen, if I heard any of this stuff in my teenage years, and I would say as far as my early 20s, I wouldn't have listened to this video this far. No way, no how. I would have said, this person is bonkers. I don't even understand. It wouldn't even probably be, I would say he's bonkers. I just wouldn't even get it. But when I first heard these things that I'm covering with you today from one of the first spiritual mentors I ever had, when I was really open to saying, you know what? Basically inside of me, the bottom line sentence inside rattling around in me was, man, I am done with this anger. This anger does not feel good anymore. I really want to dump this thing like it's just garbage that I'm carrying around all the time, and I can't wait to unload it. When they went over these points, bam, it went right through me. And every one of these things made sense. So I'm hoping it'll help you as well. Remember, the key point here is anger is a choice. It is just an opinion, and it's always a choice. To cure it, we have to be more mindful, right? We hear that all the time. To solve your problems, be more mindful, right? When you're not angry, that's the qualifier I want to throw out to you. If you want to work on this, which is why at the beginning I said, if you're angry, cut this off. Don't watch. But if you're calmer now, this is the time to be more thoughtful, right? What makes me angry? What sets me off? What pushes my buttons? Obviously, you cannot ask these questions when you're angry. It's like all you want to do is say, shut up to me, and all you want to do is throw up on me, again, all due respect, with what's really pissing you off, right? What you're angry about. So obviously, none of this is useful when you're angry. But when you're not, you got to first be thinking. You got to start thinking, what is making me angry? So we cure anger. Jonathan, you cure anger? Right. The psychiatrists out there, all the people who want to put, all the professionals out there that want to put angry people on mood-altering medications so that they can, walk around like zombies for the rest of their life, God forbid. But curing anger, that may sound bizarre, right? But I can tell you from personal experience, and I'm not perfect, all right? I'll repeat it. I am not perfect, but I am definitely well on my way. Curing anger is real. Very, very real. And here's the point. Anyone, everybody can do this. You don't have to have fancy degrees. You don't have to go to some very expensive resort and go away for a month and work on it with all kinds of fancy techniques and strategies. The bottom line is each and every one of us can do this. And I can tell you, I personally didn't spend a penny to completely change from my 20s to where I am now in my mid-50s. And they keep you out of suspense. I'm 55 right now. Okay, so it's all about the concept of transformation, right? Not suppressing anger. This is a biggie because I could hear the comments down below. Oh, Jonathan, you want me to push my anger down? Never once did I say suppress your anger. Don't express your anger. That's very bad if you do that. Hold your anger in. Ooh, that's better. No, not at all. In fact, we know full well that's a whole other program where we can talk about the molecules of emotions, right? I believe that was the title of a book of a woman who's no longer here, Candace Pert, PhD, P-E-R-T, an amazing woman that I did programs with years ago who talked about the molecules of emotions. Yeah, that's a bad news thing. If you're really, truly angry and you're just holding it in, oh yeah, that'll make you physically sick. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about transforming anger. Perhaps another way of putting it is dissolving anger. It's just gone, right? And here's the key point. Anger that you can have rattling around in your head, anger is no doubt in my mind, nobody can convince me otherwise anymore, not from what I've been through. Anger is self-centeredness. Okay, we've established that. So we have to change the meaning of what you see. Something happens to you. Somebody says something to you. An event goes down in your life that in the past always made you angry. Someone called you a name. You didn't get that job. Whatever, you fill in the blank, and it always triggers you off and makes you angry. You've got to change the meaning of what you see, or else you're just going to be in this anger loop for the rest of your life. So a big part of it, which I learned in being in business for myself and working a lot with thousands of people over most of my health and fitness career. Now I'm on the internet, and of course, granted, it's easy for me to say now because I don't see each and every person, right, personally in front of my face. But for years and years, I had thousands and thousands of people coming through clubs and facilities that I ran, and they had all kinds of personal issues. The key here that was a big difference that transformed my anger into something so much better was that I became so much more other person-centered, other-centered, not self-centered, but other-centered. And I hope that makes sense for you. Let's take an example. Someone screaming and yelling in your face. I mean, they are calling you out and they're calling you names. You know, just all the way to like racist stuff, right? I mean, that is the biggest thing that's in the news now. You're this, you're that. You fill in the blank. And I mean, go all the way to something that would really make you angry. You know what I think when I hear someone doing that? I think, and this is the thing, what do you think or feel when that's happening to you? Here's a suggestion. That person that's going off on you is in pain. That's it. That person screaming at you, stop personalizing it so much. You're this, you're that. So if you're getting that as incoming barrage of insults, just think of that person as being in a lot of pain. Why else would someone be like that? Because they're happy and content? I mean, there's no way someone screaming at you and insulting you and putting you down and cursing at you. There is no way that person at that moment in time is a happy person with high self-esteem, very, very good, feeling great about their life, filled with gratitude and thankful. There's no way that person that's behaving that way is in a lot of pain. And here's the key point. Oh boy, another key point. We don't control those people. We can't. They will always just do what they do, right? But we can control ourselves. And that's at best, right? We have a choice, back to that choice, that we can control how we look at something that's happening like that, what I just described, and how we choose to respond. So taming anger, just getting it under control, step one, know when you're getting angry. You've got to know it, right? If you don't know it, game over. There's nothing else you can do. Step two, ask yourself. This is an important question. Ask yourself, what is making that other person do or say what they do? You have to ask the question. Do you hear me? I didn't say you have to know the answer. Hello? But you must know when you're angry and be able, step two, to ask yourself this question. I'll repeat it. What is making that other person do or say what they do? And I have done this countless times on a personal level. It works every time. It is taking you out of the emotional, reactive, crazy anger state and putting your mind at work to be more thoughtful. And it really does help. Step three is automatic, so keep that in mind. This puts your mind over your emotions by simply doing step two. Ask the question. Why are they doing or saying what they're doing or saying? Just ask the question. Don't worry about the answer. Okay? And so to summarize, as we close out here, I hope this wasn't too much for any of you, and I hope you enjoy listening to it. Maybe you'll listen to it again and again, and I'm sure if you listen to this a second or third time, you will definitely get more out of it, and I really do hope it helps you. To summarize, expressing anger is not therapeutic. I love that modern psychology type cliche. Oh, express your anger. It's good for you. That's baloney. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at being angry. I guarantee it. And how to get rid of anger forever? How do we get rid of anger forever? This is something I love to remind myself of all the time. Whatever happens to you is in your best interest. Remember that. Let that phrase ring around in your head. If I get $1 million, that's meant to be. I know it. I'm so happy. But what if you lose your job? I've lost many jobs over my lifetime years ago. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that it was in my best interest that I would lose high-paying clients and completely losing jobs that I was immersed in. So does that make sense? Everything that happens to you in your life happens for very important reasons for you that are in your best interest. Don't ever look at it any other way, whether it's good or bad. And remember, you never know 100%. Wait and see. It's a very popular expression that has been given to me, and I find that to be always very useful. No matter what is going on, you don't know, wait and see. Can you see how living that way can change your life completely, and not just change it, but for the way better? So my question of the day as we close out, what makes you angry? Now you can hear all the voices that, oh, nothing makes me angry. I'm totally fine. Well, then great. You didn't have to listen to any of this. Family and friends, A. B, your workplace situation makes you angry. Or C, other, as I say. But of course, don't write other. Be great if you could just put in the comment section what your C is. Fill in the blank. What else might make you angry if it's not family and friends or your workplace environment? What else might make you angry? And just sound off in the comment section, and let's have some fun with this, okay? Because the whole point of this was to really help you out. And again, the Natural Health 365 live broadcast that we're doing here every single day is Monday to Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Every one of these shows that I create for you brand new each and every day is all about helping you to improve your immune system, which will automatically protect your health. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day today, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. All right, Instagram.